So we did 1,243 adoptions. I believe our previous year was 989. So we did, over 200 more than last year. A lot of that, honestly, was due to COVID. I know that COVID did a lot of bad things this past year, but it really did good things for our adoption numbers. There were certain days in which we were doing over 13 adoptions back to back. Some days, I believe our highest number was 19 in a day. We were doing them every half an hour, and there were 3 of us, 3 days a week. We were doing adoptions, and it wasn't even people who worked in adoptions. I was the director of feline care at the time. Rachel, she was the previous animal services director, and then one of our vet techs, Jill Elston, we were all doing adoptions. So it was definitely interesting, but I think that's a big reason of why we hit the number that we hit this year. Well, I mean, people were home, so they had the time to spend with their animals, and there's never a better time to get a new animal than when you're going to be home to train and spend time with it. Usually, if people are going to be, they come on a Friday because they know they have the weekend off, so they'll get to spend 2 days with their pets. But with COVID, people were spending months at home, so it was the perfect time to get a pet. And I think that that's a reason that drove a lot of the numbers up, because our foster numbers also went up because more people were home, more people were willing to take in an animal. And help out shelters because there wasn't really anything else to do. And they couldn't physically be at the shelter because we weren't allowing volunteers for a very long time. So I think that has a lot to do with the number of adoptions that we've had this year. I would have to say, based on the amount of adoptions that we were doing, it was relatively the same. I don't think that we had anybody who couldn't care for their animal any longer after going back to work. However, we did kind of see more animals being surrendered because people had to move and they couldn't take their pets with them. COVID forced a lot of people to have to move to cheaper living or like moving in general, and a lot of animals came into the shelter that way. But no, I don't think that any of the animals that we adopted out came back once things died down a little bit. Well, I'm hoping to keep the same amount of adoptions, if not more. I do think that the last couple of months, even when COVID wasn't as prominent when it first started, there has been more adoptions in the weeks following than we've done in past years. I think scheduling really helps us to be able to do adoptions better because we can take the time to make better matches. So I think that following into this year, continuing doing appointments, I do think that we'll be able to keep the number of adoptions, and I do hope that we can. My goal for the organization is 1,300, so hopefully we can hit that. I do want to just thank everybody's kindness and the donations that we've received over the last couple of months that are being matched by StaffWorks have been substantial, and they made it so that 2020 wasn't so hard, honestly. So 2021 is looking bright because of all of the donations that we were able to receive.